Hello there. This video is on figuring out the number of solutions for a given equation or equations. And so I am not going to be referring you to any particular problems on the SAT exams, but I'm going to throw out a sample question, maybe two sample questions. So, for example, all right, I did it in green. I didn't mean to do that, but it's kind of pretty. Okay, so let's say we've got a couple of equations and they're asking us in the question to solve for the number of solutions. Now, as you can see, the first equation is in quadratic format. So we want to get that second equation in that same format. We want to get it equal to y. So we're simply going to, we'll add out the 5x. Right, those cancel. And then we will subtract out the 8, and we will get y equals 5x minus 8. We already have up here y equals x squared plus 3x minus 7. So where we have two things equal to the same variable, we can set them equal to each other. So we're going to do that. X squared plus 3x minus 7 equals 5x minus 8. And we're going to continue to create the quadratic equation. So we're going to subtract that back out, and we're going to get x squared minus 2x minus 7 equals minus 8. This is important to make sure you take that sign with you. Okay, and then we're going to add that 8, add the 8, because we always want to get that quadratic equal to 0. And now we have. All right, now remember, we're trying to figure out how many solutions, not what the solution is, but how many solutions there are. So we have to continue with factoring. We're going to factor this part, still keep it equal to 0, and we're going to have x and x in here. And remember, when you factor, you want to get two numbers that multiply to 1. Well, in this case, that's really easy because there's only two numbers that multiply to get to 1, and that's 1 and 1. We also want to get them to add to -2, right? So they multiply to this, and they add to -2, and you have to remember that sign. And so in order for them to add to -2, they're both going to be negatives. Since they're the same, we would set each one equal to 0, but since they're the same, we only have to do 1. And we get x equals 1. There's only one solution, okay? So one solution is the answer. All right, now it could look really different, right? So another kind of question that I've seen, I'll just use a different color. All right, I've seen a question where they just give you one equation, and it might be something like this, and they say solve for y, and then they tell you there are no real solutions to this problem. All right, so what do you do? Well, the first thing you do is you get it into a quadratic looking equation, right? So we're going to subtract out the y. So we're going to end up with this. Now, where do you go from here? When they tell you there are no real solutions, this is the big thing. You have to go to your quadratic formula, or as I am shortening it to, Q form. All right, and you should know this. All right, so I'd like you to commit this to memory. It's -b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, and that whole thing is over 2a. Now, here's the important part. You don't need to know for this problem, you don't need to actually figure this whole thing out. The only part you're interested in for this problem is this, the b squared minus 4ac. That is called the discriminant. I'll write it out. Now, it's okay if you don't remember the word, but you should remember the b squared minus 4ac because there are some rules. All right. So if the discriminant is positive, right? Maybe I'll just write it out so it's really clear. If it is greater than 0, then there are going to be two solutions. Okay. If this is less than 0, then there's going to be no solutions. There are going to be no solutions. Now, if we go back up here, they already told us there are no real solutions. So we know that this, if we use this and we put the appropriate numbers into the discriminant, it's going to be negative. All right. So right away, if we look at our answer choices, we don't have any answer choices, but we could cross out any positive answer choices. But let me take you through this problem. All right. So let's go back here. We're going to bring this down here, right? And just to be clear, the 2 is the A, the -4 is the B, and the -y is the C. All right. Now we're bringing down the discriminant, and then we're going to figure out what that is. So b squared is -4 squared minus 4. The A is 2, and the C is -y. All right. So we have 16 minus 4 times 2 is 8, and we have a negative here and a negative here. So it's just going to be plus 8y. Okay, and that's it. And then and we know because it's no real solutions, right? No solutions means it's less than 0. Okay, so if we work that all the way through, and we're trying to solve for y, we get 8y is less than -16. Divide out that 8, and we get y is less than -2. Right? So if we looked at answers, we would pick the answer that is less than -2. Okay, that's all you need to know. Pretty short video. I'll see you next time.